What is up, everybody, and welcome into the Keeping It 1000 podcast, Denver Nuggets Legends Edition, a brand new series we're kicking off here as part of the Keeping It 1000 podcast. I'm your host, Adam Matas. I'm joined by the legendary Coach Karl, who's got a nice and tangled microphone right there for me, and a little bit of a shitty Wi-Fi. Coach, what's going on?
Oh, it's on me. Oh. I want you to know I'm the guy that knows nothing about Wi-Fi. So why is it my fault?
It's definitely not. It's definitely not. We'll roll with the punches, though. I'm excited for this one, Coach. We've been talking about this series for a little bit. And in fact, we've already started it with a conversation with Alex English. But in partnership between DNVR and your company, Truth and Media, we've launched this series where we will now take Denver Nuggets legends and try to tell the history of the Denver Nuggets, the 56-year now history of the Denver Nuggets, a history that's not told very, very often. And tonight we have a great guest, a guy who I think, number one, was a fan favorite. Number two, spanned multiple eras of Denver Nuggets basketball and was part of an absolutely generational Denver Nuggets team that set all kinds of different records. He's, of course, your former rookie, your former player, Kenneth Faried. Let's welcome him onto the show. Kenneth, thanks for joining us, man.
How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Thank you for having me.
And I already see the chat out here.
Blessings to you, my man.
Thanks, Coach Karl. Thanks, Coach Karl.
Yeah, so this one, I already see the comments are just popping for you already, Kenneth. I want to go through and kind of talk about your experience with the Nuggets, starting from the very beginning, going all the way into your departure, and just kind of hear from your perspective, the good, the bad, the highs, the lows, and kind of how you went with it. But my first question, if we kind of start it all off, if we go all the way back to the very beginning, before the draft, what were your first impressions with Denver? And did you have a sense that Denver was going to be a team that was interested in you? When did you know that was going to be your landing spot?
When Masai basically pulled me in his room and during the draft process at the combine, and he just said, "Hey, we're going to draft you. I'll just let you know. So if you go anywhere below, you're getting drafted by us." And that's what happened.
Is that how it always goes, Coach? I know. When did you know Faried was going to be the guy? And how early are those decisions made? Are they night of the draft, night before? What's that look like? He might already be out. Can you hear me, Coach? And he might already be out. We'll have to have him reset, and he can join us here in just a little bit. All right. So, what was your impressions early on when you hear it's Denver, Kenneth? Like, what is your impression early on about the city of Denver, the Nuggets organization? Did you have thoughts about it?
I actually felt like it was, serendipity, pretty much. I ended my career there during the
That's right.
NCAA tournament. Then to start my career there, and Denver already basically knew who I was from watching me. They said they scouted me already during that time, before the draft, before the basically combine, way before that. It was already scouting me. They had scouts come. So they liked who I was as a person and everything, and just how much they heard about how much I worked on my game, and I just try to get better and try to get stronger, faster, and get bigger, how much I worked on my body and everything. And he just was telling me since college. So it was just a beautiful thing. And I was like, wow, like just for y'all to invest that much time and energy and effort into me, and then honestly just say, hey, we're going to draft you here. And I end my career there during like my college days, and I come there and work out. They love me, and I still kind of disliked it at the time because of the altitude. I couldn't believe that I was young and I didn't understand, but I loved it once I got used to it.
Well, that's one of my questions I actually have, because I mean, you're coming from Jersey, you're a coastal guy, big city guy. Like, what are athletes' impression of Denver? Like, is that a place? I don't think people are clamoring necessarily, but at that point, when you're in the draft, is it just another market, or what's kind of an NBA player's perspective on the city?
I can't really say that because I went to school in Kentucky.
That's
Dude,
true.
I was in Moorhead, Kentucky.
Yeah.
That so that was If I wasn't coach was shocked by that, then Denver, it was just like, wow, okay, I love to go there. Like it
The big
seemed to
city.
me like a bigger city. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Especially compared to Moorhead. So I was ecstatic to go there. I wasn't afraid or another market. No. I know what Melo did there. I know the players that was there. I know JR because he's from Jersey, so I know he had a good time being there, and I know um like I said, my favorite player at the time coming out of college, I was looking up to Melo, how he
Really?
came one and done. Yeah, because he came one and done, and he
Right.
just always had a smile on his face when he played the game. He enjoyed it, so that's what I always liked about it, the way he played. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna watch this guy, and I watched him in the NBA and watched him blossom and become the player he was, and it was just like, wow. I had a, I had a Melo Syracuse jersey with a trophy in my hand one day uh, that I had won MVP or something. And I remember that picture my mom took of me. And to me to get drafted to the Denver Nuggets, the same team he played for, it was just wow.
That's pretty dope, man. I never heard that story. So that's like that's the first time I ever heard that one.
Yeah, I mean,
So that being said, you come to Denver, you're a fan of Melo, you know JR, but it's kind of a new era when you arrive. Like those guys are out the door. Did it feel like that for you? George, your Wi-Fi is looking good, so I think you're with us here. So hang tight for just a second. But yeah, Kenneth, so did it feel like a new era when you were arriving? Did you feel like it was a fresh start? You had a chance there to really stand out right away?
uh, no. I was just being honest. George Karl already took me in his office and told me I don't play rookies. And yeah, good
Straight up
luck.
conversation, no mystery to it. You just said that?
Yeah, straight up conversation, right in his office. Said, I don't play rookies, so good luck. I was like, well, you're gonna play me, and thank you, and left.
That's exactly the response I wanted.
So this is a little psychological test. You're going to tell him I'm not going to play you to see how he responds to it?
Well, everybody says that about me, and that's not true. Ty Lawson was a rookie, and I played him a hell of a lot of minutes. I've had a lot of young players like Dante Jones, and I think in my older days, and I think the old school generation was that you didn't play rookies as much as they do today, and that's something that has evolved and changed. It seems like personnel now wants young players to be on the court, but in the '90s and the early 2000s, the general thought amongst coaches was that you don't win a lot of basketball games playing young players. And I still think it's somewhat true today, but I think the process is definitely changing and moving. And I remember the first year with Kenneth, he had a good rookie. He had a good training camp. We had a lot of big guys. And I don't know, Kenneth, if you can remember who got hurt. Someone got hurt right at the beginning of the season. And I kind of threw you in the starting lineup. And I kind of liked it. And, we had, I think, Wilson Chandler coming off the bench. And Costa was starting, I think, at that time in center. We had Al Harrington coming off the bench.
Yep.
But actually, I thought Kenneth is rebounding with the first unit. He showed me that we needed that in the game. And rebounding is a fundamental that is very difficult in coaching to teach. There are not many coaches that are known for teaching rebounding. And most coaches believe that rebounding is a talent. It's a knack. And Kenneth showed that very early in our time together that he could help our basketball team by just being a hell of a rebounder and play hard guy. And I had to change my ways. I was wrong. I was glad I was wrong.
Did you know that was your ticket, Kenneth? Rebounding?
I knew it was my ticket to the NBA for sure. Like I just knew I can push myself and focus on basically playing hard because Dennis Rodman did that for a long time and made a lot of money, got a lot of championships, and is still known as the rebounding king. So for me, it was just a mindset like, hey, my mom, my dad instilled in me, all right, if you want to shoot the ball, go get it yourself. You got to rebound it. We're not giving it to you. You got to rebound it. And it just made me go get it. You know, sometimes the shots was long. So I'd be like, oh, I'll get this rebound because it's long. And when it was short, it was kind of hard because I was short and my mom and dad was bigger. So they'll get those and jump. But the long ones I could go chase down. So it became a knack for me. And this translated for me from high school. Well, I should say middle school, high school, college, NBA. And it continued to help me grow as a player and as a person. And I just knew no matter what, as long as I rebound, I can play this game. And as long as I'm able to run and be hard-nosed hustle guy and play defense, I can play this game for a long time.
What was your like vertical at its peak? Because you had to be one of the David Thompson, J.R. Smith, maybe the only two nuggets I could think of that could outjump you. And J.R. Smith's a maybe.
At his peak, yeah, I was at 44.
Whew. That's crazy. The record at the combine, I think, is like 48 or something like that. So that's
Yeah,
pretty wild.
It's up there.
Coach, so I asked while you were getting resituated there, I asked about Melo leaves the 2010 season, 2010-11. So this was the new beginning. You know, what were your expectations coming into that 2011-12 season, and sort of where was your mind at with the group you had?
Well, you know, after the Melo trade, we had a good run. That team played well together before, you know, and we were excited. I mean, we offensively, we were going to totally playing fast and totally playing with the gap and kind of playing spacing basketball, kind of like the game's played today. With Melo, we were kind of 50-50. You know, we would play some of it, but a lot of times we played just regular basketball, NBA basketball of isolation and pick and roll, but a lot of action directed towards Melo. But we finished that year. We played. I think we played Oklahoma City in the draft. I mean, Oklahoma City in the playoffs, and played.
No, that year.
No, the year before we drafted Kenneth.
I got you.
And you know, and I think basically as a draft situation, we were just looking at athletes. We wanted guys that had speed up the court. They played basketball a little more like an athlete, more than, you know, I guess we wanted more speed, more length, more just non-positional basketball. And as I said, you know, in the Melo trade, we got Costa, Timo, JaVale McGee.
No. Didn't get JaVale in the Melo trade.
He joined it though. He joined that 2011-12 team, I believe.
Yeah, but that was when we traded with Nene.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, but I'm just saying when we made all the trades, I just, and then I'll be honest with you, I brag about Kenneth, and I brag about those four guys, JaVale and Costa and Timo and Kenneth. Here are four guys that we get in, you know, not in the same trade, but in one. You know, at one time, they all come to our team, and they all end up making $10 million a year. And at that time when we got them, none of them were playing. You know, in the Melo trade, JaVale played some, but Timo and Kostas never played. And then over the summer, we drafted Kenneth, and that was the lockout year, or it was a year that was disrupted by the strike.
Yeah.
And, you know, and so in general, we were just happy to be back on the basketball court. And, you know, I probably didn't tell Kenneth this, but he had a good camp. He made impressions in the camp. Physical. Guys didn't like playing against him. You know, he was a little irritating at times. And I like that. I was that type of player, so I kind of I said, I like this guy a little bit. I didn't tell him that.
Nope.
And then I don't remember early in the year what happened, but I think it was like really like in the first week of the season or second week of the season. Someone got hurt. I don't know if it was Wilson Chandler or Al Harrington or
No,
Costa.
listen, I'll tell you, I could remember it like it was yesterday. It was so funny. Cause okay. It was during like towards not the first week, but Nene kept having a nagging injury. So Nene would kept having a nagging injury. Then for some reason, I think somebody went down. Timo went down. And then Gallo was in and out, basically from injury. And who else? Al. We played Memphis. And all the bigs was basically hurt. And you said to me, "Hey, you're gonna get your chance, and you're coming off the bench." Al started that game, but I came off the bench with a lot of energy, everything, this, that, and third. I remember Al coming to me and saying after the game, because I basically felt like I lost the game because you said I didn't box out like I should have, and Dante Cunningham hit the ball in over top of me.
I remember that. I remember him tipping the ball in.
Yep.
And it was over here. It was near your vicinity.
Yep. So I was very upset, and then Al said to me, "Hey, young fella, you all right? I'm going to go to the coach and tell him I can't start no more because that's not me. You're going to start from here on out." Then you said, "All right, Kenneth, basically, come here." And you told me, "You're starting now." In the next game at home we played, I started, and I never looked back after that. Then Nene came back from his injury, and you started me and Nene. Then, lo and behold, next thing I know, Nene got traded. Birdman got hurt too. That's who wasn't playing. Birdman. He got hurt.
And I'll be honest with you, I think that was Al. I liked Al coming off the bench. I liked him being a kind of an offensive weapon off the bench. We had enough offense with our starters, you know, with Wilson and Gallo and Aaron. We had Iguodala?
We had
Aaron that year. That's right. Aaron the follow. We had Iguodala the next year. But, you know, we had Rudy Fernandez and some guys that, you know, we had enough scoring. I've always felt scoring was easier. And you know, what's funny is all those big guys, Kenneth is by far the best offensive rebounder. It's not even close. Offensive rebounding. Kenneth at times takes some liberties at the defensive end of rebounding. And I got on him about Dante Cunningham. Dante Cunningham beat us at the buzzer. We were up one. We were up one.
Yep, he missed the free throw and he tipped it in. I was like, oh my God.
What I remember about these early days, Kenneth, that first year is once you started playing, instant fan favorite. In fact, I think you became a fan favorite in the preseason. Is that when the Manimal did you have Manimal wasn't from college? Wasn't that a pro thing?
That was, it was actually adopted because of the way I was playing going through the draft combine.
Okay.
Going through the draft process. Everybody was calling in saying, "Yo, this kid is a beast. He's an animal. This man's a man child." And then Maktar Nguy was my agent at the time. So he was my agent, and Thaddeus Fouché was my agent. That was my head agent. So then we basically, Maktar calls me in his office, "Faried, all these scouts and everybody and all these teams calling about me, saying you's an animal, you's a beast. You from Africa, huh?" I'm like, "What? No." I don't know. Yeah, I guess so. He's like, then he proceeds to say, "Can I get the light on, please?" Sorry. Yeah. Then he proceeds to say to me, "Hey, you're going to basically call you the Manimal." And I'm like, "No, I have a nickname. My name's K-Tom. Like, that's my nickname. That's been my nickname in college." And he said, No, you're an animal. You're a beast. Your nickname's Manimal."
But that's like an all-timer nickname.
I think it's one of the few nicknames I think fit.
Yeah.
It really fits.
Yeah.
I sit there, I ponder. I go, you know what? Hold on. I got hair like a lion.
Yeah.
I like a lion. Lion strong, king of the jungle. Yeah, I'm the Manimal. I'll be the Manimal.
So
That's it.
a good nickname, a good look, and then obviously a dunker, an energy guy. I mean, as I recall it, correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought the Denver fan base was like immediately behind you, and especially once you started playing. I mean, what was your recollection of just your own popularity with the fan base early on?
I think it's because they saw how I performed in college, and that kind of got them already. Like Denver fans said that a lot. They saw me in college, and they can't wait to see how I do in the NBA and see how I do for Denver. And it was already a buzz about me, so that's what started it. And like I said, me going there, ending my career there, then going there and starting my career was the best thing in my life because they already knew who I was. They saw me in person. They saw how I played in the altitude already. So it wasn't like, oh, can he do it? Can he not? No, he already did it. He's been here. He's done it. So it was just a beautiful thing for me. Then I think my preseason game, the first preseason game, he let me play. I really performed and shine, and I got a double-double that game. Then that was it. He let me play no more for some reason. And I understood why, because we had a lot of bigs and we had a lot of guys who was already like ahead of me. So I knew in practice every day to just bring it. Like I know, hey, in order for me to play, I got to show I can play like these guys or better. And I'm going to keep annoying them, keep nagging them, because Al Harrington, like he from Jersey, when I was on the team, he really just took me under his wing as his rookie. So he was my vet, and he still is my vet to this day. He said, basically, you keep playing hard every practice, and you'll get your chance. Keep going hard. Forget what they're saying. They telling you to slow down and all that. Forget that. You keep going. You're going to get your chance. And lo and behold.
Let's fast forward because there's some really good stories up ahead. But that year, your rookie season, you actually go up against Kobe Bryant and the Lakers in the playoffs, and that series goes 7 games. This is one of the reasons I want to do this series, Coach. We talked about this, but sometimes the details of a series you forgot. You just go, oh, the Lakers advanced this or that. That was a tooth and nail series that went all the way down to the end in Game 7. To give a quick overview, Bynum has a triple-double in the first game, 10 blocks, kind of a blowout win for the Lakers. Second game is a close one. Kobe goes for 38. In Game 3, Kenneth, you play 35 minutes. I think it was your high in here. You grab a ton of boards, and it's a blowout win. Gallo ties the game in Game 4. It looks like you're going to win, and then down the stretch, the Lakers pull away. I think Kobe hits a big one. It looks like you're over Game 5. Kobe scores 43, but the Nuggets win. Game 6 is a smackdown, so you come back basically from 3-1 to tie it at 3-3. It's a smackdown. The Nuggets absolutely dominate. You get a double-double, Kenneth. And then Game 7, a 1-point game heading into the fourth quarter, a 1-point game, but the Kobe and the Lakers kind of close it. Actually, I think if I were to say, because I went back and kind of watched some of it, the Twin Towers, Pau Gasol, Andrew Bynum, just their size in that fourth quarter, tons of rebounds, just tons of size, and drew some fouls, this or that. I'll start with you, Coach. What do you remember about that series?
The one thing I remember about the series, I'll ask Kenneth about. Kenneth, it's one of the great moments in my coaching career. I talk about a lot about leadership. Do you remember Game 5 when Andre Miller gave his speech before the game and told me he wanted to take control?
Yes.
I mean, it was the most inspirational. I get goosebumps now because Andre Miller came to me before the game, and it's Game 5, so there's not a lot of things you can keep. We showed him everything, and he said, "Coach, I want to give the talk. Let me have the talk." And I said, "Okay, I have the first 2 or 3 minutes, and then I'll give it to you." And it's one of the most inspirational talks. Because at that time, Andre Miller had never won a playoff series. And it was unbelievable. And to this day, I've never had a player do that in my career. And it was unbelievable. And in Game 5, Andre Miller was unbelievable, as was Kenneth and JaVale.
Yep.
Some unbelievable plays in that game. Full court lob passes to JaVale. offensive rebounding big time. And as you said, we come back in game 6, and it wasn't even a game. And people don't remember in game 7, we were down 20 in the first half.
Yep.
We were down 20 in the first half and came back. And I don't know how much lead we got in the fourth quarter, but it was more than 1. I think we got it up to 3, maybe 5.
Yeah, we went up.
We went up. And then Ty Lawson, he told me this after the game. I wish he would have told me the game before the end of the game. Kobe, what happened was Melo World Peace was suspended for the first 6 games. And he was activated for game 7.
Yep.
Now, he wasn't much of a factor offensively. But that gave them 3 guys that could defend our 3 guys. Without, we had Follow, Ty, and Andre were kind of our quarterbacks.
Gallo.
And they were playing, and Gallo. But those 3 guys, I don't know how they matched up. But without Melo World Peace, they didn't have good matchups. We always had someone available. And that kind of pisses me off today. Why they suspend him for 6 games? Why the hell he's out the first round? Instead, they go 6 games. Why 6 games? It just drives me crazy.
What do you remember about this one, Kenneth, the series?
I remember just the moment where I came alive in a sense. Like I understood the task at hand. Like, hey, this is the playoffs. This is serious. Like they know what you do. They're big. They're strong. But Kenneth, you're fast. Like you're gonna have to use your speed, use your wits, and figure out how to remain in these games and help your team win. And just in LA, it just seemed tough for me. Like it was like the crowd overshadowed who I was, and then they just got excited. Bynum was just beating everything, and I just felt kind of demand at the time. Then I had to get out of that. Like as a rookie, I'm like, yo, I'm starting here. I'm playing. I'm in the playoffs. Kenneth, you got to play. Wake up. And then, I remember my mom and dad coming and my daughter, and it just made me hey, you good. You're playing basketball, a game you love, enjoy. Just go out there and have fun. And it was just, excuse me, I get teary eyed. It was just fun for me. I just remember playing and just you know what? I'm going to play my hardest and give it my all. If I score, I score. If I don't, I don't. But I'm going to make sure I rebound this ball and play the hardest defense I can in order for us to win. And that's, lo and behold, what I was able to do. And my favorite thing about it was I made it such a ruckus. Kobe and Matt Barnes knocked me out the air when I was going up for a dunk one time in Denver. I was going up for a dunk. And they basically called it flagrant 1 when he did it. But in this day and age, did it be a flagrant 2?
Might be out the game.
Exactly. But they knocked me out of the air because they hit me in the head. They didn't go for the ball because I jumped too fast and too high. And they knew it wasn't, And I basically I remember laying on the sideline wow, this really just happened. Wow. Kobe Bryant just really knocked me out the air. I must be doing something right.
I love this. Such a good detail, man. Again, these are all things I hadn't heard before. I hadn't heard these conversations, and I'm around every Nugget story there is. So this is really interesting. If we go the next year is the big one. I mean, 2013. When I talk to people, sometimes we'll talk about the Melo era, the Jokic era, this or that. The space in between that, Faried, Ty Lawson, Gallinari. That in particular, that 2013 season, let me list all of the things that happened in just 1 year. For one, the team starts 8-9, but they have a 15-game win streak, which is still a record for the Denver Nuggets. A 21-game home winning streak, which is still a record. Finished the season 22-3, including, by the way, that 22-3 stretch included a 1-point overtime loss and a 1-point loss. So very nearly a 25-game win streak or whatever. So it was a really special season. I'll start from the top, and I'll start with you this time, Kenneth. did you know going into that one, building on for the 7-game series the year before, did you had a sense that, all right, this team is gelling and now we're ready for a special year?
No, because we made a trade and we got Andre Iguodala that summer, and it threw me off. And then we got, I think we got Wilson Chandler back because he came back from China that year because of the lockout. So everything was just kind of thrown out of whack. Al Harrington was gone. I'm like, yo, we still have Andre though, but it kind of threw me off. Like, I was like, okay, I don't know these people really. I know Andre Iguodala, he's a great player, all-star. That should be nice. Wilson Chandler, they said he was a borderline all-star when he was on here in the NBA, so that should be nice to have him. And I'm like, okay, maybe I'm not playing no more. Like, I don't know what's going on. I was kind of nervous, especially coming off my rookie campaign. I didn't know if he was going to go in a different direction.
Right.
So for me, it was just, hey, like, we're making all these trades. We're getting an Olympian because he just won the Olympics when we got Andre.
Right.
So I'm like, we're getting an Olympian right now, and they want I'm on his team, and we got JaVale still, we got Timo, we got Costa. I'm like, we got some players. So I was kind of nervous, but I just knew if I worked hard and did what I did my rookie year, I'll be okay going into training camp. So yeah, and plus, we started the season 0-6, by the way. Like,
0-6, I don't remember that.
George Karl, you remember that one?
I don't remember 0-6. I know, though, that we had ups and downs early in the season.
Yeah.
In fact, we had one of the worst schedules I've seen in the NBA. We were at the first week in January, we were 17-15. So we had 32 games in the window. And I'm pretty sure I'm not telling you a lie here. 21 of them were road games.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. It's a lot of road games early on. I never noticed.
And we were 2 games over 500, but in the plus minus system, we were like a +6.
Gotcha.
And somehow, some way we relayed that mentally to our players. And early, I think the 15-game winning streak happened in February, maybe late January. And then we were good. I mean, it was the best offensive basketball team I've ever coached.
Wow.
I mean, in season, and we were so powerful at home. I mean, teams just, in Denver, we always had that chance of the altitude or the intensity of the game could sometimes shut teams down, but never as much as in that season. In that season, you could see teams give up early in the third quarter. They're saying, we can't get this done tonight. Let's move on.
You notice this too, Kenneth? You see guys that are just like, nah, not tonight.
I was on the court. Sometimes we at the free throw line. And for me, I like to bend over and act like I'm basically tired. So to see how guys' reaction is. And they like, yo, y'all not tired? Yo, how y'all still going? I'm like, oh, we got one. Hey, then I tell Todd. Then I go like this. I tell Todd, Andre Miller, I got one. And you'll see me take off. And they throwing it from basically the free throw line, other free throw line or half court.
Man. Is Andre, I love that, man. I love the idea of like a guy admitting he's tired, and it's like, got him. He's as soon as you admit it, it's over. With Andre Miller, it made me think of this. You just running and saying, "I got it, let's throw it." In my opinion, he might be the best lob passer I've ever had. Was he the best lob passer that you've ever played alongside?
Hands down.
No question.
Hands down.
No one's even close.
Yeah, I haven't found anybody that close. Like he was amazing. Like wow. It's just he just knew every time, pinpoint. It was pretty spectacular.
Did you guys have was there like eyes? I mean, what did he do? Because sometimes he would throw it before anybody moved. And he'd be like,
he just told me, you run. I see you. I said, you do? He said, I see you. I've been seeing you at practice and everything. I see you. You just run. I promise you I'm going to get it there. So, I mean, yeah.
And I mean, we had three guys who could run. JaVale could run. Kenneth could run. And I mean, Costa wasn't a great runner, but I thought he was a good, what we called the dunker in those days.
Yeah. Yep.
Costa was great in the dunker. Costa was a good offensive rebounder. Kenneth was a great offensive rebounder. And I just, I've never had rebounding like that on many of my teams. Defensive rebounding has always kind of been a little more important to me than offensive rebounding. But because of Kenneth and Costa, and I gotta throw JaVale and Timo in there too, we really, I think we led the league in offensive rebounding. I'm not sure of that, but I'm pretty sure we did.
Yeah.
And
I think the Nuggets with Kenneth Faried led the league in rebounders top 3, like almost every single one of the years that he was in Denver.
Yeah, we were.
And the thing about it was we scored the ball around the basket. We were one of the worst 3-point shooting teams in basketball. Right. In the lower 5. We were one of the worst free throw shooting teams in basketball. But we still led the league in scoring. Right. Which I don't think will ever be done again. I don't think that'll ever happen again. I think we outscored teams in the paint by 12 points, on an average of 12 points. And I know more and more teams keep that stat. But our thing was to score in the paint first. I think Kenneth knows that, my belief was you love the rim and you like the 3. And that was said many a times in practice. We don't love the 3 and like the rim. No, we love the rim and we like the 3. And those were our 2 shots, and we also wanted to get fouled. But Kenneth wasn't a very good free throw shooter. I don't know about JaVale and Costa and Timo, but Iguodala wasn't a very good free throw shooter. I think we might have shot under 70 as a team, because I think we were 29th or 30th in free throw shooting.
Yeah. Kenneth, was that the most fun year you had? I mean, was that if you compare all of your basketball experiences, high school, college, AAU, whatever, like where's that 2013 season rank for just like fun playing the game?
It felt like I was back in college, honestly. Like, it didn't feel like a job. It didn't feel like I was out there working. It felt like I was just playing a game and having fun. I didn't have to worry about anything. Like, some nights I wasn't always spectacular every night, but I went hard every night. And some nights my go hardness just didn't pay off. But we still had other guys who was picking up the slack, helping out, carrying me, helping me, and just showing that love and enthusiasm of the game also. So it was fun for me. And then we also at first we started off losing, but I remember Melvin Hunt, and I remember actually George Karl. I think you should remember this one. Early in the season, you coming up to all of us, we suck. Only person that playing hard right now and doing anything is Kenneth Faried. That's the only guy out here doing this. All of you guys, Kenneth, you got off. Everybody else, we're practicing. I was like, oh no, what?
What do you
went
do?
Crazy in the locker room. And it was because we wasn't playing hard as a team. Everybody wasn't just bringing it. Then after that day, we clicked, and it was just beautiful.
Did you take a day off? Like, if he gives you the day off, do you?
No.
I was gonna say it puts you in an awkward spot if you take the. You're like, hey, he's probably gonna go.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, that's funny.
But he gave guys who need treatment, get treatment. Right. Guys who want a massage, all that stuff. So yeah, it wasn't really a day off. Like, oh, go get out. Nah, or get shots and stuff. But we practice.
Gallo gets hurt, obviously, that year at the very end. It kind of reminds me of this Nugget season this year, to be honest, where everything's looking like, oh, man, we're ready for a run here. This is going to happen. Gallo gets hurt. I had to go back and look at this because I actually forgot. You got hurt, too, and you missed game 1 of the playoffs that year. I mean, everybody always says Gallo was out, but you missed game 1, which was a game Denver dropped as well. When you look back on that, Kenneth, how do you feel about how does that season go? If you're healthy, Gallo's healthy, I think even Wilson was banged up.
We actually won game 1. We won it. It was a tough one, but we won. Then
that's right.
Game 2. I tried to come back for game 2, like ready.
Right.
And I think we in game 1, David Lee got hurt too.
It killed us.
It changed the whole dynamic of their team.
For years.
From that point forward.
The scouting report was all the guy we were going to cover the 3-ball and let David Lee have wide open jump shots.
Yep.
He gets hurt in the first game or the beginning of the second game. I'm not sure.
First game. No, it was first game.
First game.
And all of a sudden they're starting Harrison Barnes. And all of a sudden they're without Gallo and without Kenneth, they're as athletic as we are.
Right.
And it was amazing how that team came together by an injury, taking the guy that our game plan going in was, okay, David Lee might hurt us, but we're not going to let him have the 3-ball, or we're going to try to cover the 3-ball and let him be wide open. And then all of a sudden there wasn't a guy wide open anymore because they all could make the 3-ball.
Right.
Yep.
And of course, Steph, that was his coming out party.
Yep.
I mean, some of the nights he had in Oakland were amazing. I think game 3 was amazing. Maybe game 5, 6, maybe. He was pretty damn good too. And I think we had a chance to be that team in some ways. In some ways, if we would have stayed together or won that series, because we were rolling. I mean, people don't understand 22-3 just doesn't happen in the NBA very often.
Right.
And I think we won 38 home games and lost to 2 teams under 500. We lost to Minnesota and we lost to Washington at home. And we could have won. No team has ever won every home game. The Celtics won 40 one year.
Yeah.
And, so I don't know where 38-3 stands, but I'm sure it's in the top 10 in the NBA.
Oh, easily top 10. Easily top 10. I mean, that Nuggets team has so many records, honestly. That year, you look at it, there's a dozen records that come just from that year when you talk about wins, streaks, home wins, everything else. So to this day, an iconic one. And I only got you for a couple more minutes here, Kenneth, so I kind of want to move quickly on, after that year, George Karl is gone that summer. Masai Ujiri is gone that summer. Gallinari's out for an entire year. We go in now from 2013. We're going into the next season. Was the vibe off immediately? Or was it different? Like what was it like coming back to a completely new team and new organization in many ways?
It was kind of interesting, It's just I didn't necessarily feel as though like the coaches or everyone understood what George Karl was doing with us at the time and how he was molding us and like helping us become the team that team that basically with him and how he was like understood the game and understood each of our attributes and abilities that we can really take off. And he was basically ready. I remember me and him had a conversation after everything, and it was, hey, this third year, it was your year. Like, I was going to let you take over, and this was going to be your team and everything. And I was going to have you take more shots and do more things and really open up your game. And I was like, wow, I was so ready for that. And I was already working on it every summer, like the 3, my free throws thing. And I was just ready for him to and I knew it was time because they basically said the following year I got snubbed for being an all-star because our team took off and was so good actually. So it was, wow, okay, yeah, it's my year. Then everything kind of went crumbling down and everything. I was like, he won Coach of the Year that same year that we were so bad. So at first, so it was just wow. Like I didn't understand
Wow.
any.
Why did they do it? Why did they blow us up? I have no idea.
He literally said to me when I remember I was like, Coach, you got Coach of the Year, man. Like I'm so happy for you. He's like, yeah, but they always fire you after this. And I
It
said,
was,
wait,
yeah,
what? I was like, wait, what? Like it's a curse? Like
It's kind of a
why?
curse, yeah.
it was, yeah.
I was like, why would they do that? You got Coach of the Year. Like, why would they fire you? Like you're helping me grow. You're helping my team grow. Like everybody's becoming better players, and like we're excited about basketball. We play like a young college team, but at the same token, like we got plays and we know what the hell we're doing. We play defense and we play hard. What like we about to have a new coach do a whole new system, whole new beliefs, whole new everything. After you just won Coach of the Year, it was a lot for me. I never had that happen. I never lost a coach.
Right.
So for me, it was like, yo, hold on. Like, you just won coach. You just did all this positive stuff. Why? So, and then Masai left, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? The guy who said to me in my face, we're going to get you. We're going to get you come draft night. You're going to be a Denver Nugget. Leaves. I'm like, yo, I can't believe it. Then, yeah, it was just.
Did any part of you want out? Was there any part of you that thought, man, everybody's going, maybe I move on?
Yeah, I did, but I love Denver and the fans, so it was like hard. I'm like, yo, I love Denver, I love the fans, I love what they're like. Everyone here, there's still people here that I do like care about, and I do like and respect, and so hey, look, I got Ty, and I got like literally, it was like, hey, I got Ty, I got JaVale, okay. We can still do this. Like I got Gallo still, I got Wilson. We can still do this. Like then Iguodala decides to go to the Warriors. I was like, oh, what the heck is going on? Everything just threw me. Everything just yeah. After, yeah, I don't know what happened.
Kenneth had a game. I don't know if Kenneth, you remember this or not, but he had one game towards the end of that year. That he had like 29 points and 20 rebounds in less than 25 minutes. I think it was against Golden State.
Yep, it was against Golden State.
Early, it was like right at the end of the season, maybe early April, late March. And I mean, the only thing we were scared about Golden State was that we didn't cover the three ball very well that year. And we knew they were a great three-ball shooting team, and that's kind of in the history of NBA. Everybody's going to remember Golden State Warriors by how they magnify taking more and more threes than anybody else, and that was kind of the process that began with that playoff series.
Yeah, I got to move it on here, and this is we're kind of getting up, and after 2014-15, Brian Shaw's out, the team is struggling, and it's clear that they're starting to rebuild. They got Gary Harris, Emmanuel Mudiay, Jusuf Nurkic, and then Jokic comes in. You also signed a big contract that year, so it's kind of moving in a new direction. And now you're, sort of a centerpiece. They give you that big deal. In fact, they had to redo the deal. They gave you too much money. It was illegal at first. But when you get in with Jokic, what's your first impression of him? Back in 2015, and when was the first time you thought, hey, this might be an MVP player, not just this might be a guy?
Honestly, it was after the second year of playing with Jokic. Like just how he was at practice and everything. I'm like, yo, this kid is like a sponge, and he can see the floor. There's like, yeah, he was fat and short back in the day and played point guard. I was like, wait, what? And he sprouted up. I'm like, oh, what? Like, sheesh, no wonder he could see the floor like he's this good of a player. Like, I'm like, yo, he be looking at me like I don't even have to do stuff. He remind me of a little bit of a younger Andre Miller with his vision.
Right.
Because he was like literally hitting me at spots. And I'm like, yo, this kid throwing it behind his head. Sometimes I'm like making a circle around. He just sees me behind his head. I was like, oh. Then, I'm running down the court. He's half court dribbling. Here you go, Kenneth. I'm like, oh, whoa, this kid he's good at this. But this was during practice time. So it was practice, we doing stuff like this. I'm like, yo, this kid is good. Then it was Nurkic was there, and I'm like, yo, like Nurkic is good too. Like he's a good big dude, like brawler type player, and I can play off of him. Like rebounding, it reminded me of playing with a Costa or a Timo.
Right.
And whereas Jokic remind me of playing with Timo, a Timo Andre Miller type.
Right.
So I'm like, yo,
Kenneth, I think Jokic is one of the top 5 passers in the NBA, period. Not just top 5 big guys, top 5 passers in the NBA. And I'd be honest with you, who's the point guard of the Denver Nuggets? It's Jokic.
agree.
He has more decision making, more touches, and more presence and responsibility to create flow and to create rhythm in offense than anybody on their team. And it's a magnificent gift. It's a magnificent gift to the city of Denver.
And Kenneth, he fit in with you, I thought, right away. In fact, I asked him this question. It might have been 2016 or 17 where I said something about chemistry with, different bigs or this or that. And he's like, some guys like me and Kenneth just have it. Like I just always know. And I think it was your athleticism. You're just always in the dunker. He just knew you were he didn't even have to look. He just knew you were there. I mean, that chemistry it did seem like it was day one.
It was day one, Bill. And I ain't going to sit here and lie. Near him, I had beautiful times. It was just seemed to be, he knew I wanted it, and I knew what he wanted to have it, and I knew that he wanted to get off it. So if he wanted to get off it, he just wanted to make the right play. I'm gonna be in the right spot at the right time, and that just comes from playing in George Karl's system. Like he just always told me, hey, play around in that dunker area and stuff. You could use your athleticism a lot better. You can use it, or you get to the rim quick. Go play around in that the tip around the rim, basically the circle. Right. You could get you will eat if you can do that. I said okay, because I can rebound for sure, like, and that's gonna make it easier for me. So, hey, why not?
Yeah. That 2016 team, coach, it reminds me of 2013 in that one way. Didn't always shoot the ball well, but they just grabbed every rebound. I mean, the defense was so stretched out that Jokic and Faried were just grabbing every rebound. If they missed a shot, it was a putback. It just felt like that, and that's why that offense that year was so great. Last one I got for you, Kenneth. I appreciate you spending all this time giving us a full hour here, but my last one, they bring Paul Millsap in, and that kind of marked the beginning of the end of your time in Denver. And I remember the last time I actually interviewed you was at Media Day the year Paul Millsap came in. And I remember somebody asked you about coming off the bench or this or that, and you said, I'm a starter. And it was clear that they had brought Paul Millsap in to be a starter. Just what were your feelings and thoughts when you saw that they had paid all that money and brought Paul Millsap in? And what were you feeling about the team and the situation at that moment?
It just felt kind of hurtful because I thought me and Mike Malone had a good relationship, because at the end of the year, at the end of all the Nurkic things and everything, it just like he just was like elated that the fact that like me and Joker had a good chemistry. He said even the numbers showed that me and him had great chemistry together, and I thought, hey, me and this guy can play alongside each other. He's going to be an all-star someday. And for sure, like, I definitely can help him get there, like, especially where he plays. So I thought that, but, things happen. And, I mean, I still went hard at practice, still tried to, showcase that I can still play. But they wanted more of a post-up other four who can more so, they said, stretch the four. So I understood with the Millsap thing.
At that time, were there any conversations that year or the year after about, hey, this isn't working out for me, will you find a spot for me? Were there any conversations like that with the front office?
Yeah, my agent had conversations with them, so that's what happened. But at the same token, I didn't get out there to next summer.
Right. Well, Kenneth, I mean, to wrap this up, man, I mean, this was really great. Like I said, so many stories I never heard before, and I feel like I've heard them all. So this was really great. Really appreciate the chat. Absolutely loved it. I just wonder, do you were, I think at that time, Ty Lawson was loved, Gallo was loved, JaVale McGee was loved, but when you checked into the game, it just felt like the Pepsi Center went to a different level. I mean, did you feel that being a fan favorite for years after year?
I felt it. I felt the fans were going to kill me if I didn't play him.
I know he felt it. Exactly. Like, yeah, I mean, I just knew, just as the way I played and the way I've always played, and I continue to play. I play hard. I play with my heart on my sleeve, and I play the game the right way. So that's, I believe, how the game should be played, and the game should be played with love. So, I mean, hey, fans see that, and they enjoy that. And, I mean, look at Dennis Rodman. He was bigger than Michael Jordan at one point.
Yeah.
If you think about it.
Well, this was great stuff. I really appreciate it, Kenneth, and excited to see where your career takes you. Here from here, and who knows? Maybe it comes full circle. It would. You mentioned the poetry of Morehead State ending. Your career ending in Denver. Maybe it comes full circle. We get back to Denver at some point. We get to do the Manimal cheer again. But thank you so much for spending an hour with us.
Kenneth, thank you. Blessings to you. I hope you're doing well. Hope your family's healthy too.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Thank you. Yeah, have a good one.
All right, everybody, hit that like button on the way out, and we'll see you again next time.
All right.